What is going on, everybody? My name is Kneeckoh. Welcome back to another Regulation H video. Another one in our top 5 of X-type video. We've already done grass, water, and fire. We're moving on to normal types today. I've got Evan with me.
Howdy, folks.
And Kurt is back for another one, Mr. Kurtasik himself.
It's me.
All right, guys. Normal types. Normal types. Let's get right down to business. Do we need to actually say it out loud? The number one
probably not.
Probably.
I think we all know. Well, here's the thing: is which one? I mean, I think we know which one, but which one?
It's definitely this one. It's
It's
definitely Blood Moon. This thing is disgusting. It's kind of crazy seeing how it developed from being on like balanced teams with a Trick Room mode to being on balanced teams with a Tailwind mode.
Yeah. It's because, like, all of a sudden, like, with the lower speed tiers that we have, 52 speed, like, you just max that out, and you still outspeed a vast majority of the meta in Tailwind.
It's crazy. It's just, I made that video the other day where the title is literally Blood Moon Ursaluna is the best Pokemon in Reg H, because I went in fully intending for that video to be a Hisuian Zoroark video, and Ursaluna never left the field. Like, it was just Whimsicott Ursaluna and just swept every team that came out in front of me. It is an absolute menace.
Yeah, its abilities also kind of busted too, being able to hit the ghost types. Again, there's not as many ghost types now, given the flutters and the CSRs are gone, but still being able to hit it's Scrappy and Kenai in one ability.
It throws off the safe switch variable. Like, being able to rotate in and take that resist, it just throws the type chart out the window. And it makes for really awkward positioning for the opponent. And yeah, I agree. The ability is just nasty. And I've actually seen, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I've actually seen some Assault Vest pop up here and there.
I've seen a couple. I've also seen it with, instead of normal Terra, I've seen Fairy Terra, which resists the fighting weakness, gets rid of that.
Yes.
And then it gets access to Moonblast, which is good.
Yeah.
And then as a fairy type, you're also weak to steel and poison, which Earth Power takes care of.
Yeah. That's a good call. Yeah. I have seen Moonblast, not necessarily Terra Fairy, but I have seen the Moonblast. But yeah, that makes sense. That's actually a pretty solid defensive Terra for that particular option. I just always,
if you're gonna go AV, I think you would do that, but I think offensively you want to go normal Terra for many obvious reasons.
Yeah, normal Terra is just always my go-to with this guy because it's just so strong. Number 2, I think we have to give it to the other Ursaluna.
Yeah, it's a Trick Room staple, I feel. It's not as good now with Crescon, I feel, just because being able to underspeed Cresselia in Trick Room, so you go first, you get a strong facade off, you get the heals back, and then you get rid of the burn so you don't get that chip, like, is pretty decent. And then still getting reburnt at the end of the turn, so that way you can keep the strong facade damage going.
Yeah, I still, like, on Trick Room teams, like size spam teams, I always rock this guy. I can't get away from it. I can't stop using it. It's just so freaking strong. Now, granted, I think of all the bears that we've played with in Scarlet and Violet so far, this is the most balanced of all the bears.
Yeah.
Like, there's ways to get around this. You can knock off the item, and that kind of weakens it. You can intimidate it. You can do a lot of things to this bear to slow it down, versus Urshifu and Ursaluna Blood Moon are very, very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, I agree. I think that with the standard Ursaluna, like, you're kind of working around your item a bit. Like, you're really not getting knocked off because you're bringing it in, like, knowing you're not going to get knocked off, and you're going to protect turn 1 if you're on the field and not burnt, you know, so you can get burnt, and now you can safely protect because there's no Urshifus.
Yeah. Yeah, it's this one. I've played with this a lot. I enjoy a good size spam team from time to time. The worst thing that you can do with this thing is swap it in when Ensign is knocking off into that slot. It frustrates me to no end every single time it happens. But yeah, definitely I think these two just rock the top 2 slots.
Yeah, it's another fun counter I've seen too is if your opponent, or if you're running a skill swap in DD and your opponent's running this thing, you just skill swap it. So now it's just a burnt Ursaluna with Psychic Terrain. Then it can't do anything.
Yeah. Now, I think this is where the rest of the list gets a little challenging. I don't know many normal types.
I was gonna say, can we count Dragonite? Dragonite would be my next pick.
Can we count it? It's like counting Ursaluna as
It's
the best
basically
electric
a
type.
normal type. Yeah, exactly.
I would personally say that Indeedee is the next one.
I can get
Oh,
behind
yeah.
that. I can get behind
Or-
that.
On the list. I don't know if I would say it's number 3 in total, but definitely on the list.
No,
I
have to
mean,
agree.
it's the psychic terrain setter. Like, there's no other one unless you're doing a manual one with something weird. Like, you're gonna run this for terrain. You're super slow, so you're always gonna win the speed tie, like the terrain wars. Size spam, like it's a staple for size spam.
Yeah, I actually really like it. I will say, I have been goofing around a little bit in the team builder. All right, I'm not saying this deserves to be on the list, but I want to give it a little shout out here. This thing's pretty good, this format.
Yeah. Will say I've seen it quite a bit. If you run, honestly, 95 speed, you run Choice Scarf with Expanding Force, be the offensive option of the female variant. Like, it's decent.
I haven't even been running Choice Scarf on it. Honestly, I just get it. I think I've been running Timid with this speed right here. So under Tailwind, I'm outspeeding everything. And then I'm going for Twisted Spoon. And then I give it just a decent amount of special attack and some bulk to take a hit or two. And just getting it out there and expanding forcing. And then also just the fact that you have the ability to set Psychic Surge. You can use it just literally like a Farigiraf or like a normal Indeedee to swap in and stop a fake out or something. I've done it in that regard too, where I don't even use it as an offensive piece, but as a defensive piece. It's actually really, really good. I really like this Pokemon in this format, and I might be weird for that, but I really like it, especially with Terra Fairy and Dazzling Gleam. It hits really freaking hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably want Fairy Terror just because Incin with a knockoff under that thing is just gonna hurt.
Yeah,
but not Fairy Terror kind of solves that.
Yeah. No, it's really fun. I don't think it deserves to be on the list, but I did want to shout that out. It's a really fun Pokemon.
It's a good pick. I think it's a good mention.
All right. Now what's actually oh, I see one.
I was just gonna say I see one. I think you saw the one. Yeah.
We gotta have the one in there.
Yeah, I mean, Farigiraf just does what Farigiraf has done forever, and it's just good. It just stops priority, and it's not gonna really change too much. There's a couple different ways to play it: throat spray or safety goggles, depending on if you're going more trick room oriented or more offensive oriented. It's just good. It's the same reason
I've personally been running a really fun stupid set with it where I run Expanding Force,
I did see it,
Dazzling Gleam, Trick Room, and Imprison. So that way you just shut down Hatterene. Like Hatterene can't do anything if you do that.
That's actually kind of nuts. That just shuts Psy Spam down. I love that.
Exactly.
That's crazy. That's so cool. Yeah, it's the same reason I had to mention Serena in the grass video. Not that I think Serena deserves to be in the top, 5 or 6 grass Pokemon, but just the fact that it can stop priority gets it an honorable mention.
Well, and it fills that different niche with, I guess not like niche, but role with priority blocking, whereas like it has to be on the field. But as long as it's on the field, it's blocking, whereas Indeedee's terrain can be taken away.
Yeah.
While it's still on the field, so it's kind of choose which one you want to run for that priority blockage.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is still good though because it can kind of be like a little bit of a closed or open team sheet pressure too. If you know your opponent, like, do they have the Furge in the back? Should I go for this fake out right now?
Exactly.
Like, can sometimes just put a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah,
too.
just having it on the team sheet can cause mind games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it and immediately I was just like, that has to go. Now, what else even is there? I mean, I guess
I see one right there that you scrolled past. That's a pretty good one.
That's a pretty good one. I think there's a couple I just saw.
I think it kind of has to be for this format between probably either like Porygon 2 or probably Old.
Yeah.
Would be my assumption.
I was gonna say, I mean, just this how strong the ape is. I mean, this is just the ape's best friend. Like anything with Friend Guard and Follow Me is good. Beat up for things like Archaludon for your Annihilate. T-Wave, Taunt, like it has some utility too if you wanted that, or if you just want to go offensive, you just go Wide Lens, Normal Terra, Pop Bomb.
Yeah, I I agree. I think this is a really good. It actually it won like the inaugural pre-Worlds tournament. It was Mouseape, with our Chaludon Pelipper, and I don't remember what the other Pokemon were on the team, but
I think I want to say Ensign Sinistra sounds right.
that
Like for
does
the
sound.
last
Yeah,
spot.
Sinistra was definitely there. But yeah, it's just it's so good in that team style. It just fits so well.
Mhm.
Because there's so many. It's like you just looking at that team sheet, you have no idea what to bring in the lead. You look at that and you go, there's 1,000 different things they could do. They could lead Pelipper or Chaludon. They could lead Mouseape. They could lead Maushold or Chaludon and go for body presses off the rip. Like, it is very hard to play into that. And that's why I definitely think Maushold deserves a spot on the list, no doubt.
I like the mouse. I think it's fun.
I do like the P2 shout out though. I think P2 is actually pretty good. I think download's fantastic. Just hit really hard. Hit really hard with Terra Blast.
Yeah, and the good part with Terra Blast too, I mean, is if your stats get biffed up a little too much in your Terra, like if your special attack becomes too low, like now it's a physical Terra Blast.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Exactly.
What I've been doing is like using P2 as that pseudo crest with like you'd run Terra Flying P2 to hit the grass types that threaten regular Ursaluna.
Yep.
And then you can just spam next to it.
Yeah,
since you're Terra.
I did play a team with that. I don't remember what all was on the team, but I didn't really use anything but Porygon 2 Terra Flying and Earthquake Ursaluna. That was like all I did, and I think I won every battle with it. It is a very, very good strategy.
Yeah, so that's your core. Honestly, you run those two, Terra Flying, spam EQ, and if you're really crazy, I mean, Eerie Impulse it gets access to too. I mean, anything that does a -2 in an offensive stat like is really good.
Yeah, I think Porygon 2 is a really good shout out. This actually went like we got to 6 Pokemon way faster than I was anticipating for this video.
I think it's just because like normal types, like they're either good, like the list that we have, or they're very like mid.
Very mediocre.
Yeah, you have Ursaluna or you have Noctowl. Take your pick. Which one are you going to put on your team?
List. Let's see what else there are as far as options go.
All right, hear me out. I see a couple on here that are definitely going to be pocket picks, but nothing that's going to see a ton of usage.
I'm keen to hear the pocket picks.
Yeah, I think Oranguru is probably one. I mean, Instruct is a really good move.
That's fair.
Like, especially next to the Blood Moon Ursaluna. PZ is a good offensive mon.
Next to normal Ursaluna as well, because you have telepathy options.
Oh yeah, that is a thing, isn't it?
Yep.
Forgot it has that ability.
Yeah, so most of the time you're running inner focus, but still, I mean, telepathy with that kind of makes sense. You could run mental herb, you can run taunt or covert cloak if you don't want to get faked out.
I mean, Smeargle. We can shout Smeargle out.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I don't see it as much this format. I think it's just way better in the formats where you're using it to decorate and power up those restricteds. I really have not seen a ton. I see it like here and there on Showdown, but I haven't seen a ton of it in actual like just consistent enough to like call it out as like a top pick. I think Snorlax will see some play, not a lot.
Let's say Slacking will make some use on some Wheezing teams probably. Again, 720 base stat total, or not 720, Jesus, 670. I only got that backwards.
Yeah,
I mean it's good for Wheezing teams just because its ability obviously that's the point, like of why it's the way it is. But
yeah,
still, I mean,
I definitely
160 attack is really good.
I definitely think Slacking could see some play, like Slacking, Wheezing, Toadscroll, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is there any other like Hisuian Zoroark?
Yeah, I think I think its typing is perfect for what it does. Like normal Ghost only being weak to one thing and having 3 immunities and having the illusion, like being able to like trick your opponent to think you're something that's weak to one of those 3, but then like you're actually immune to it, like is really good.
Yeah, I agree. I have seen this pop up, and when it does get set up, it is very, very annoying to deal with, especially with a 110 speed stat. Like this thing is one of the faster Pokemon in the format.
You got Snarl Spam. It gets, I think it gets Helping Hand if you even want to do something like that. You know, Shadow Ball, Bitter Malice.
You get Taunt, Will-O-Wisp for support stuff too. I think it gets.
Put a sash on it. This thing can be pretty good.
I've seen a lot of just nasty plot, with Hyper Voice. And what's its signature move? I forget. Bitter Malice.
Bitter Malice, yeah.
Yeah, and you just use your Turn of Illusion with a Focus Sash to get the nasty plot up, and then you're like faster than everything else anyways, so you're just spamming with +2. And that has been really, really annoying when I have come across it.
That sounds
Yeah.
good. And you run like maybe like Fairy Terra or something, just so that way you're getting rid of your dark weakness there.
Yeah.
Because dark's your only weakness.
Yeah.
If you really want it, you can run Terra Blast, but I think Bitter Malice is probably a better slot there.
Something I'd done with it was running just straight Terra Normal with choice specs, and you can run Hyper Beam, and it is just a delete button into any basically that doesn't resist.
Really high special attack.
Oh yeah, base 125. Yeah,
That's really high special attack. I didn't realize
Its
it was so
defenses
high.
are bad, but hey, guess what? Focus Sash.
Yep. I mean, I feel like that's what it's gonna be there to get the illusion off, annoy something when that tries to fake it out or something, you know, and just get set up, delete a couple things, and then get off the field. That's what I feel this thing is built to do, and I feel like it is like a sleeper pick. You can fit it onto certain archetypes, and it can do really, really well.
Plus, I mean, just the team sheet aspect of it, just seeing like on ladder, if I see his Hisuian Zoroark on their team, I'm not faking anything out until I know where that Zoroark is.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, I have gotten in that scenario where like I go to fake out and I'm like, oh, they have Hisuian Zoroark. I'm not clicking that button, even though it's probably the optimal play if that Pokemon wasn't on the team.
Why is this Urshifu shadowballing me?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think this is a good list, and we had some fun honorable mentions to discuss.
I think the Porygon 2. I think PZ might even be one, but that's gonna be like a probably one-off thing.
Yeah, I think PZ pops up here and there, but not very frequently. Like I said, we got there a lot faster than I thought we would with these. I do think we are starting to get into the more difficult types to name 5 good ones of. The next video is going to be electric types, so things are going to get a lot more interesting, I think, the further we get into the typings. At least for certain types, like electric fighting, bug is going to be a very difficult one.
Bug,
Bug's got Volcarona. There's your video.
Yeah, it's gonna be something. But this was fun. Hope you guys enjoyed. Guys, thank you for coming on and chatting. It's always fun to have people on instead of just talking at my camera. So thank you guys. You guys want to shout anything out, Kurt?
Not much. I mean, I stream on Twitch from time to time. Follow me. If you do, you'll see when I go live. It's not very often. I have a little Kratastic who is just so much fun. I'd rather spend my time with her. But when I do find time, I try to stream on Twitch whenever I can.
And Evan, anything for you?
Nope, I don't got anything. So
all right. Evan is in the Discord, so if you guys want to chat with Evan, join the Discord. We have fun over there. But if you guys enjoyed the video, sub for more like this in the future. And until next time, peace.